going on, guys? It's the Tutor here. Today I'm bringing you a very special video. Of course, this video is regarding all the Final Fantasy X cards that you can find in the new Magic the Gathering and Final Fantasy crossover universes beyond. So we're going to go through this quickly. This is starting with Mono White, Auron's Inspiration. It's a 3-cost instant. Attacking creatures get +2/+0 until end of turn. Flashback. Then you also have a Farewell Art card, and you can find these two cards here. If you look over here, we have a Together Forever art card, and a Spirit Squid token. And you can find this art card here, and then it looks like the squid is in some commander decks. Then in this Spirit Squid is in this commander deck. And then you have Auron's Venerated Guardian. It's a legendary creature, human spirit samurai with vigilance. Whenever Auron attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. When you do, exile target creature defending player controls with power less than Auron's power until Auron leaves the battlefield. And you can find this in the commander decks here. Next, you have Chocobo Knights. It's a 4-cost creature, human knight. Whenever you attack, creatures you control with counters on them gain double strike until end of turn. Then you have Gata and Luzu. It's a 3-cost legendary creature, human soldier with flash. When Gata and Luzu enters, choose target creature you control. If damage would be dealt to that creature this turn, prevent that damage and put that many +1/+1 counters on it. And you can find these in these commander decks. Next, we have Lord Jyscal Guado. It's a 2-cost legendary creature, Spirit Cleric. Flying. At the beginning of each end step, if you put a counter on a creature this turn, investigate. Then you have Protection Magic. It's a 2-cost instant. Put a shield counter on each of up to 3 target creatures. And you can find these in these commander decks. Next, we have Summon Zion. It's a saga. Exile target creature an opponent controls until the saga leaves the battlefield. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures you control. You gain 2 life. Then you have Summon Yojimbo. It's a 4-cost saga. Exile target artifact, enchantment, or tap creature an opponent controls. Until your next turn, creatures you could attack, unless their controllers pay 2 for each of those creatures, then they create X treasure tokens where X is the number of opponents who control a creature with power 4 or greater. And you can find these in these commander decks. Next, we have Summoner's Sending. It's a 2-cost enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile target creature card from a graveyard. If you do, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. If the exiled card's mana value is 4 or greater. Then we have an extended art for the Chocobo Knights. And we also have the extended art for Protection Magic and Summoner's Sending. You can find those in collector boosters and gift bundles. Next, we have the extended art for Auron and Gata. You can find these cards here. And the extended art for Lord Jyscal Guado, and a borderless for Summon Zion, which looks really cool with this artwork right here. So let me know what this summon's about, if this is a powerful summon or not. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Then Summon Yojimbo, borderless. Next, we have Collective Effort. It's a 3-cost sorcery with Escalate. Tap an untapped creature you control. You can choose 1 or more. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Destroy target enchantment. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature target player controls. You can find that there. Next, we have Damning Verdict. It's a 5-cost sorcery. Destroy all creatures with no counters on them. Then you have Destroy Evil. It's a 2-cost instant. Choose 1. Destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater. Destroy target enchantment. And you can find these in these commander decks. Next, we have Farewell. It's a 6-cast sorcery, and you can choose 1 or more. Exile all artifacts, creatures, enchantments, graveyards. Then you have Grateful Apparition. It's a 2-cost creature spirit with flying. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, planeswalker, proliferate. You can find these cards here. Next, you have Lumina's Broodmoth. It's a 4-cost creature insect with flying. Whenever a creature you control without flying dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. You have Path to Exile. We all know what that does, but just in case you don't, it's a 1-cost instant. Exile target creature. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card. Put that card on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. You can find that card here. Next, we have Promise of Loyalty. It's a 5-cost sorcery. Each player puts a vow counter on a creature they control and sacrifices the rest. Each of those creatures can attack you or planeswalkers you control for as long as it has a vow counter on it. Then we have Resourceful Defense. It's a 3-cost enchantment. Whenever a permanent you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on target permanent you control. It's a 5-cost. And to move any number of counters from target permanent you control onto a second target permanent you control, you can find these cards here. Next, we have Scholar of New Horizons. It's a 2-cost creature, human scout. With this creature enters with a +1/+1 counter on it, and you can tap to remove a counter from a permanent you control. So search your library for a Plains card and reveal it. If an opponent controls more lands than you, you may put that card onto the battlefield tapped. If you don't put that card on the battlefield, put it onto your hand, then shuffle. And we also have Sunscorched Regnant. It's a 5-cost creature dragon with flying. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and you gain 1 life. And my apologies for that. You can find these cards here. Then we have Together Forever. As you guys know, this seems like a very romantic kind of series. So let me know what if it is or not. When this enchantment enters support 2, then you can spend 1 to choose target creature with an encounter on it. When that creature dies this turn, return that card to its owner's hand, and you can find it here. So that was mono white. Let's go on to mono blue. Starting with Combat Tutorial, it's a 3-cost sorcery. Target player draws 2 cards. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control. Then there's Iceflawn. It's a 6-cost creature, Elemental Ooze. When this creature enters, tap target artifact or a creature an opponent controls. Put a stun counter on it. That's Island Cycling. Next, we have Ice Magic. It's a 2-cost instant. Then you can have you can choose 1 additional cost. You can spend 0 to return target creature to its owner's hand. You can spend 2. Target creature's owner puts it on their choice of the top or bottom of the library. And then you can have spend 6, and target creature's owner shuffles it into the library. Then we have Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum. It's a 3-cost enchantment aura. Flash, enchant artifact or creature. When this aura enters, tap enchanted permanent. Enchanted permanent doesn't untap during its controller's untap step, and its activated abilities can't be activated. Next, we have Summon Shiva. It's a 5-cost saga. Heavenly Strike. Tap target creature an opponent controls. Put a stun counter on it. Then you have draw a card for each tap creature your opponent controls. Then you have Syncopate Pot. It's a X1 instant. Counter target spell unless its controller pays X. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into the owner's graveyard. Then we have Summon Shiva. This is the borderless art from the card we just saw. Then we have Blitzball Stadium. This artifact enters support X and then go for the goal. You can spend 3 to tap. Until end of turn, target creature gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player. Draw a card for each kind of counter on it, and it can't be blocked this turn. Then you have Lulu Stern Guardian. Legendary creature, human wizard. Whenever an opponent attacks, you choose target creature attacking you. Put a stun counter on that creature. It has Proliferate. Next, we have Oaka, Traveling Merchant, 2-cost legendary creature, human citizen. You can tap to remove a counter from a non-land permanent you control. Draw a card. You can find these here. Then we have Riku, Resourceful Guardian. It's a 3-cost legendary creature, human artificer. Whenever you put 1 or more counters on a creature until end of turn, that creature can't be blocked by creatures the opponent controls. And you have Steal to spend 1 to tap, move a counter from target creature an opponent controls onto target creature you control, activate only as a sorcery. Then you have Summon and Baleful. It's a 5-cost saga. Each opponent chooses a creature with the greatest mana value among creatures they control. Return those creatures to their owner's hand. Tap up to 1 target creature and put a stun counter on it. And you can find these cards here. Next, we have the extended art for Blitzball Stadium and Lulu. You can find these cards here. We're on to the extended art for Uaka, Traveling Merchant, and Riku, Resourceful Guardian. You can find those here. Then we have Borderless for Summon and Baleful. And you can find that in the Collect Booster Skip Funnels. Then you have Chasm Skulker. It's a 3-cost creature, Squid Horror. Whenever you cast a card, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. When this creature dies, create X1/1 blue squid creature tokens with the Island Walk, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on this creature. And you can find those cards there. Then you have Inexorable Tide. It's a 5-cost enchantment. Whenever you cast a spell, Proliferate. And then you have an offer you can't refuse. It's an instant. Counter target non-creature spell. Its controller creates 2 treasure tokens, and you can find those cards here. Then we have Pull from Tomorrow. It's you can spend X into blue. It's an instant. Draw X cards, then discard a card. Then we have Stay With Me, which is also known as Rhystic Study. Enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may draw a card unless that player plays one. Find those cards here. And then we're on to Mono Black, starting with Vraska's Final Aeon art card, and then you have Al Bhed Salvagers. It's a 3-cost creature, human, artificer, warrior. Whenever this creature or another creature or artifact you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. You can find these cards here. And then we have Jet, Reluctant Guardian. It's a 4-cost legendary creature, human warrior with menace. Whenever Jet deals combat damage to a player, you may exile it, then return it to the battlefield, transform under its owner's control. And here's what the transform cost looks. It's a saga. Each opponent discards a card and you draw a card. Then you have each opponent sacrifices 2 creatures of their choice. Then you have Overkill, which is the combo for, or the counter, sorry, for Jumbo Cactuar, since it gains, a lot of attack. But target creature gets -0, -99999 until end of turn. Well, I guess it's not really, because Jumbo Cactuar increases attack and not toughness, but it's kind of funny that you have those similarities. Next, we have Summon Anima. You draw a card and you lose 1 life, and then each opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice and loses 3 life. Then you have the borderless for Jet, Reluctant Guardian. You can find these cards here. Then you have the borderless for Summon Anima, and then you have the extended art for Jet. And my apologies, you can see that right there. Then you have Seymour Flex. There's the default and the extended art. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 1 life. If you do, draw a card and put a +1/+1 counter on Seymour Flukes. Next on to Mono Red, there's only 1. Side quest, play Blitzball, 3-cost enchantment. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. At the end of combat on your turn, if a player was dealt 6 or more combat damage this turn, transform this enchantment, then attach it to a creature you control. Once it's transformed, you have World Champion Celestial Weapon, Legendary Artifact Equipment, Double Overdrive. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has Double Strike, and spend 3 to equip it. You can find that card here. Next, we're on to Mono Green with Blitzball Shot. So let me know down below what Blitzball is. Curious to know what it is in the game, because obviously it seems to be a pretty big part of Final Fantasy X. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample until end of turn. Then you have Ride of Shupoof. It's a 2-cost enchantment. Whenever a land you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. You can spend 7. This enchantment becomes a 7/7 beast creature in addition to its other types. You can find these cards here. Then you have Maester Seymour, legendary creature, human elf cleric. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to Maester Seymour's power on another target creature you control. Then you can spend 5 Monstrosity X, where X is the number of counters among creatures you control. Then you have Sphere Grid, enchantment. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have reach and trample. And looks like it's available in these precons. Next, we have Summon Mega Sisters. Choose 1 at random. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Put a shield counter on a target creature. You gain 3 life. This creature fights up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. Then you have Tromel, Seymour's Butler. It's a 3-cost legendary creature, Elf Advisor. Each other non-token creature you control enters with additional +1/+1 counter on it. Then you can spend 1 to tap proliferate X times, where X is the number of non-token creatures you control that enter this turn, and you can find these in these precons. Next, you have Yuna's Decision. It's a 4-cost sorcery. You can choose 1, sacrifice a creature. If you do draw a card, then you may put a creature card and or a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Then you have return 1 or 2 target permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. And you have Yuna's Whistle. It's a 3-cost instant. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. When you reveal a creature card this way, put an X +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, where X is the mana value of that card. Find those cards here. Then we have the extended art for Sphere Grid and Yuna's Decision. You can find both of those in collector boosters and gift bundles. Then the extended art for both Yuna's Whistle and My Ace of Seymour. You can find those in collector boosters and gift bundles, and then you can find My Ace of Seymour and also the bundle as well. Then you have the extended art for Tremole, Seymour's Butler, and the Summon Magic Sisters. You can find these cards here. Then we have Bane of Progress. It's a 6-cost creature elemental. When this creature enters, destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature for each permanent destroyed this way. Then we have Duskshell Crawler. Looks really cool, by the way. It's a 2-cost creature insect. When this creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has trample. Next, you have Farseek, 2-cost sorcery. Search your library for a plains, island, swamp, or mountain card. Put it onto the battlefield, tap, and shuffle. Then we have Fight Rigging, 3-cost enchantment with Hideaway 5. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then, if you control a creature with power 7 or greater, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost. And you can find those cards here. Then we have Forgotten Ancient. It's a 4-cost creature elemental. Whenever a player casts a spell, you may put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may move any number of +1/+1 counters from this creature onto other creatures. Then you have Generous Patron. It's a 3-cost creature Elf Advisor. When this creature enters, support 2. Whenever you put one or more counters on a creature you don't control, draw a card. Next we have Gyre Sage. It's a 2-cost creature Elf Druid with Evolve. And you can spend 1 to add a green for each +1/+1 counter on this creature. Then you have Hardened Scales. It's a 1-cost enchantment. If one or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put on it instead. And find these cards in these commander decks. Then you have Incubation Druid. It's a 2-cost creature Elf Druid. Add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. If this creature has a +1/+1 counter on it, add 3 mana of that type instead. Then you can spend 5 to adapt 3. Then you have Inspiring Call. It's a 3-cost instant. Draw a card for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Those creatures with indestructible until end of turn. Then you have Path of Discovery. It's a 4-cost enchantment. Whenever a creature you control enters, it explores. Then you have Rampant Rejuvenator. It's a 4-cost creature Plant Hydra. Looks really cool. This creature enters with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. When this creature dies, search your library for up to X basic land cards where X is this creature's power. Put them on the battlefield, then shuffle. I think I'll use that on quite a few commander decks because I like the ability. 3 visits. It's a 2-cost sorcery. Search your library for a forest card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Then you have Timeless Tracker. It's a 3-cost creature Human Scout. With Landfall, whenever you sacrifice a clue, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Next round of multicolored cards. Looks like we have a couple of art cards here. This is Yuna's Grand Summoner. Then we have Hiri, Valiant Guardian art card. You can find these 2 art cards here. Then we have Sin, Spyra's Punishment art card. And you also have Yuna, Hope of Spyra art card. Then we have Sin, Spear's Punishment, a 7-cost legendary creature, Leviathan Avatar. Flying. Whenever Sin enters or attacks, exile a permanent card from your graveyard at random. Then create a tap token that's a copy of that card. If the exiled card is a land card, repeat this process. Then we have Titus, Blitzball Star, a legendary creature, Human Warrior. Whenever an artifact you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on Titus. Whenever Titus attacks, tap target creature an opponent controls. Find those cards here. Then you have Yuna's Hope of Spyra, legendary creature, Human Cleric. During your turn, Yuna and enchantment creatures you control have Trample, Lifelink, and Ward 2. At the beginning of your end step, return up to 1 target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield with finality counter on it. Then you have a borrow list for Sin, Spyra's Punishment. It's a 7, same thing as before. Then we have Yuna, Hope of Spira. Legendary creature, human cleric. During your turn, Yuna enchantment creatures you control have trample, lifelink, war 2. Same as the one above, obviously. At the beginning of your end step, return up to one target enchantment card from a graveyard on the battlefield with finality count 100. We've already talked about this card, but this is a really good card, so I wanted to say it again. Then, of course, we have Sid, Timeless Artificer. Sid, Timeless Artificer, there's 16 different versions of this card in this set because there's a different Sid, Timeless Artificer in like each of the games. So with all unique card art. So let me know if you guys make a deck with all 16. I'd like to see it. Tag me on X. Would love to see it. Artificer creatures and heroes you control get +1/+1 for each Artificer you control and each Artificer card in your graveyard. A deck can have any number of cards named Sid, Timeless Artificer, and as likely, you can find these two cards here. Then we are on to the extended art for Sin and Titus, Blitzball Star. You can find those in the collector boosters, bundles, gift bundles. Then we have the extended art for and also borderless for Yuna, Hope of Spira. Then we have, I think, the commander for the actual precon, Titus, Yuna's Guardian. It's a 3-cost legendary creature, human warrior. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may move a counter from target creature you control onto a second target creature you control. Cheer. Whenever one or more creatures you control with counters on them deal combat damage to a player, you may draw a card and proliferate. Do this only once each turn. Then you have Yuna's Grand Summon. It's a 4-cost legendary creature, human cleric. You can tap, add 1 mana of any color. When you next cast a creature spell this turn, that creature enters with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever another permanent you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, if it had 1 or more counters on it, you may put that number of +1/+1 counters on target creature. You can find those cards in these commander decks, and it looks like Titus is also in gift bundles too. Same with Yuna. Next, we have Kimahiri, Valiant Guardian, legendary creature, cat warrior with vigilance. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Kimahiri and tap target creature an opponent controls. Then you may have it become a copy of that creature, except it has the name Kimahiri, Valiant Guardian, and it has vigilance and this ability. Then we have Shalinda, Yavon Acolyte. It's a 2-cost legendary creature, human cleric, lifelink. Whenever another creature you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. If its power is less than Shalinda's power, otherwise put a +1/+1 counter on Shalinda. Find these in these commander decks. Then you have Sin, Unending Cataclysm. 7-cost legendary creature, Leviathan Avatar. It has a 1 before, but a little bit of a different effect. Flying Trample. As Sin enters, remove all counters from any number of enchantment creatures and enchantments. Sin enters with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is twice the number of counters removed this way. When Sin dies, put its counters on target creature you control, then shuffle this card into its owner's library. Then you have Waka, Devoted Guardian. It's a 4-cost legendary creature, human warrior with reach trample. Whenever Waka deals combat damage to a player, destroy up to 1 target artifact that player controls and put a +1/+1 counter on Waka. Blitzball Captain. At the beginning of your end step, if a counter was put on Waka this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. Then you have the extended art for the 2 cards. You can find them in the collector boosters, bundles, gift bundles. Then we have the extended art for Sin and Titus. This extended art of Sin looks really cool. I really like that. You can find the collector boosters, bundles, and gift bundles. And the extended art for Waka and Yuna Grand Summoner. Find those also in collector boosters, bundles, and gift bundles. Going over here to Titus, Yuna's Guardian, and then Yuna Grand Summoner. It's the same exact thing, just borderless. You can find those in collector boosters, gift bundles, and MTG Arena card style, so just the card game app. Yuna's, I believe this card is very expensive. Let me know what it costs down below in the comments. This is the Surge Foil version. Then this is the default Titus and Yuna. Same cards, but you can find these in these collector edition commander decks. Then we have Altered Ego. You can spend X and then 4. Creature, Shapeshifter. This spell can't be countered. You may have this creature enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it enters with X additional +1/+1 counters on it. And you have Bred for the Hunt. It's a 3-cost enchantment. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counters on it deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. So for this commander deck, there's a little bit of an extra way to get card draw. Then we have Endless Detour. It's a 3-cost instant. The owner of the target spell, non-land permanent, or card in a graveyard puts it on their choice of the top or bottom of their library. Then we have Fathom Mage. It's a 4-cost creature human wizard with Evolve. Whenever a +1/+1 counter is put on this creature, you may draw a card, so some more card draw. Then we have Seymour Guado, also known as Kinan Border Prodigy. 2-cost legendary creature, human druid. Whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent produced. Then you can spend 7 to look at the top 5 card of your library. You may put a non-human creature card from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Then you have Titus, Xenarcand Faith, 2-cost legendary creature, Merfolk Wizard. 4, scry 1, then reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, draw a card. And it also has partner. This is also known as Thrasios Triton Hero. You can find these 2 cards here. Next, we're on to colorless, and there's only 1 card, Summon Bahamut. Destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent, draw 2 cards. This creature deals damage equal to the total mana value of other permanents you control to each opponent, and has flying 9/9. And then here's the Summon Bahamut art card. Find those 2 cards here. Then we have the borderless right here. It looks really cool. Going on to artifacts, we have Blitzball 3. Add 1 mana of any color that has goal. Sacrifice this artifact, draw 2 cards, activate only if an opponent was dealt combat damage by a legendary creature this turn. Then we have Arcane Signet, and you guys know what that does, so I'll just kind of skip over it. Then we have Everflowing Chalice, 0-cost artifact with Flight Kicker. This artifact enters with a charge counter on it for each time it was kicked. Then you can add a colorless for each charge counter on this artifact. Then there's also Soul Ring, most common card you'll ever find in Commander. Then we have Walking Ballista. You can spend X artifact creature construct. This creature enters with X +1/+1 counters on it. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Remove a +1/+1 counter from this creature. It deals 1 damage to any target. Then we have Lucas Stadium. It's a 3 Strixhaven Stadium artifact. Tap, add colorless, put a point counter on this artifact. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, remove a point counter from this artifact. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to an opponent, put a point counter on this artifact. Then if it has 10 or more point counters on it, remove them all, and that player loses the game. Find these 2 cards here. Then we have land cards. I'll just kind of go through them one by one. Guanzum, Farplane Getaway, and the Xenarcand Ancient Metropolis. This is also has a sorcery, Lasting Faith, 6. Create a 1/1 colorless hero creature token, put a +1/+1 counter on it for each land you control. Then we have this cool island, and then the extended art. Then we have the another island, but this is a search ball. Then we have Brushland. You can find these 2 cards, and looks like the pre-cons, Evolving Wilds, and then Exotic Orchard. Obviously, a lot of these cards are cards we've seen them, printed before in many pre-cons, but they have their own unique art card. So let me know if you guys like kind of the art that they had for these lands. I love collecting lands, but unfortunately, all of these are kind of locked behind, obviously, the pre-cons, which are stupid expensive now. If you guys need to know what they do, just kind of pause the video and just read for yourself what they do, because obviously there's a lot of them, and they basically do the same thing, with just the different colors. So thank you guys again for watching. Sorry, there's a tangle being lit. I do appreciate your love and support for this series. You guys have been awesome. I've been getting quite a decent amount of views for each of the series cards, and I appreciate all the kind comments you guys have shown me. over the 16-part videos that I've been making them for. Um, and I am hoping by the end of this year I have 250 subscribers. And I know we can reach it because of just the love and support you guys have been showing me. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Tutor out.